Welcome back to The Luca Lifestyle, your guide to understanding health information, fad diets, and influencer trends. My name is Madeline Lucas, and I'm an Australian dietitian and founder of the company The Luca Lifestyle, where we share quality and scientifically backed information here on YouTube, over on Instagram, and on TikTok, as well as selling balanced meal plans and exclusive ebooks over on our website, thelucalifestyle.com, which, as well as all of our social media accounts, will be linked in the description box below. Today I'm bringing you a video for the new year all about the social trend that is about to kick off in January for the, I believe, 6th or 7th year in a row, called Veganuary. So if you're sitting at home wondering what this all means, or maybe you're thinking, is it really as good as everyone says it is? Could there be any risks involved? Or lastly, should I give it a try myself? Then this is the video for you, because these questions and more will be answered in today's video. Of course, if you like what you see in today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, because it really does help the channel to grow and be seen by more viewers each week. And of course, subscribe to the channel to see new health and diet related videos every Monday. Also, be sure to stick around to the end of the video, as I am going to be giving out a Veganuary related discount code for some plant-based ebooks and meal plans over on my website. So firstly, what is Veganuary? Essentially, it is a trend started in 2014 where individuals pledged to go vegan for the 31 days of January. There's even a whole Veganuary website, which I can leave down below if you want more information on actually signing up and registering officially, but of course you do not have to register in order to take part. So what does this mean? It means switching out traditional omnivore foods such as meat, poultry, eggs, and milk for plant-based alternatives. Now, before you get intimidated and switch this video off thinking I could never go vegan, remember that this is just for 31 days. It's not a long-term thing. If at the end of January you feel like going straight back to your old diet, feel free. There is absolutely nothing stopping you and no shame in going back to your diet at the end of Veganuary. But the aim is that you will have learned a little bit along the way that may or may not improve your life for the better. I just wanted to start out by saying that no, this is not a long-term commitment in any means, so there is no need to be intimidated by it. It also doesn't mean that you have to switch over to eating raw fruit and vegetables for the entire month. In fact, the goal of Veganuary is to actually show people how easy and fun it can be to switch over to a more plant-based diet. Yes, you can still order pizza, yes, you can still eat burgers, but simply sourcing them from places or making them in your own home using plant-based ingredients. I also want to back up a little bit and explain what vegan actually means, because there can be a lot of misconceptions, and Veganuary doesn't necessarily embody all of the traditional traits of veganism. So what I mean by this is that most people who follow a vegan lifestyle, to them it is much more than just a diet. Most vegans don't only change up their diets, but also switch up a lot of other things in their life to accommodate more vegan principles, such as switching to cosmetics or skincare brands that don't test on animals or don't contain any animal ingredients, as well as avoiding fabrics such as leather or wool when it comes to their wardrobes. And when transitioning from an omnivore lifestyle to a vegan lifestyle, most people don't do this all in one big go. It tends to be a process, a slow and steady one that leads to more long-term success. But when we're talking about Veganuary as just sort of a 1 month long challenge, we are really just talking about the diet aspects. Now, some people would actually consider just following the vegan diet to be a plant-based diet rather than being vegan, but plant-based January just doesn't have quite the same ring to it as Veganuary does. So now that we've explained what Veganuary even is, should you give it a try yourself? The top 3 reasons for giving Veganuary a go would be for health, for the planet, or for the animals. Now I'm going to mostly focus on reason number 1, because that is my area of expertise, but when we get to the end, I will also talk a little bit about the environment. Now, of course, going vegan doesn't automatically mean that your diet is going to be super healthy. You can still eat vegan fast foods, sodas, potato fries, and even lollies that aren't made from gelatin. But it does mean that you're more likely to be eating more vegetables each day, and that is definitely a good thing. At least 90% of Australians do not eat the recommended 5 serves of vegetables each day. and this is similar, if not worse, in other Western countries. So trying out a plant-based diet for the month can be a great way to experiment in the kitchen, try out some new recipes, and even just to be more mindful of the foods that you are ordering when out and about. So many times we stick to what we know, our comfort zones, but my new favorite quote is that a comfort zone is a beautiful place. However, nothing ever grows there. And I think this is perfectly fitting for all areas of life, including health. Now, what is so important about vegetables in the first place? Well, they contain a whole lot of important vitamins and minerals, especially when eaten in a variety of colors, flavors, textures, and different species of plant. Of course, you can get plenty of vitamins in the form of a little supplement bottle, but getting them from the natural source is so much more beneficial for not only absorption, but also from the added fiber that is found within the vegetables themselves. Now, fiber is essential for keeping your digestive system healthy, for keeping bowels regular, and for making trips to the bathroom a lot more easy, as well as a lot more time efficient. Increasing consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables is also one of the best things you can do to reduce the risk of developing obesity and type 2 diabetes, amongst many other lifestyle diseases. Okay, so more veg is a good thing for your health, but is eating meat really that bad? This is a very controversial topic, and one that I really don't want to dive too deeply into because of the complexity. There are so many studies supporting the intake of meat as being perfectly healthy and part of a balanced diet. However, there are an equally large amount of studies showing that it is not. Depending on who you ask, what Netflix documentary you are watching, the information you receive is going to be slightly different. So with that being said, I'm going to stick solely to what I've learned through my university studies and steer clear from what the media is trying to convey. So is meat bad for you? The simple answer is no, not really. The Australian Guideline to Healthy Eating still does include meat as part of a balanced diet. However, it does depend on which kinds of meat and the portion sizes. Western cultures eat far more meat and meat products than what is recommended. In Australia, the recommendations for adult women is 2.5 serves a day, and for adult men is 3 servings a day. So what is a serve? Well, this should help to clear up a few things. 65 grams of cooked lean meats is considered 1 serve. 80 grams of cooked lean poultry, so that is skinless chicken or turkey, or 2 large eggs are also considered 1 serve. Now, if looking for a plant-based alternative, 1 cup of cooked and drained beans, lentils, or legumes is also considered a serve, or 170 grams of tofu. Now, this seems all well and good, but when you start thinking about the average daily intake, eating out at a restaurant, if you order a steak, this could easily be 2, if not 3 servings just in 1 plate. Then if you're eating bacon and eggs for breakfast, that's another 2 servings right there. And maybe for lunch, you're having a ham and cheese sandwich. There you go. A simple meal plan like this already throws an individual well above the recommendations. However, most people, of course, never actually learned what a serve size was or what the recommended intake for their gender and age was. Okay, so moving away from quantity slightly, let's talk about the type of meat, because technically the ham from that ham and cheese sandwich isn't even really classified under the AGHE, Australian Guideline to Healthy Eating, as a meat or protein serve. Ham is considered a discretionary food or a sometimes food. Go watch last week's video if you want more information on what that is. But the reason it is classified as a discretionary food is because of the processing. Processed meats often have a large content of saturated fats, and an increase in the consumption of saturated fats can lead to the increase in risk of developing heart disease. The other risk factor when it comes to processed meats is the processing itself, whether it is salting, curing, smoking. I'll pop up the World Health Organization definition over here on the screen, but the processing itself has actually been shown by the World Health Organization to be carcinogenic. Now, carcinogenic means increasing the risk of developing cancer. Processed meats, including sausages, smoked meats, and ham, just to name a few, have been labeled by the World Health Organization as a Group 1 carcinogen. This means that there is strong evidence suggesting that increasing the intake of these foods leads to an increase in the risk of colorectal cancer. As well as colorectal cancer, there is also some evidence suggesting that increasing the intake of processed meats leads to stomach cancer. Other than processed meats, the World Health Organization also consider red meats to be a Group 2A carcinogen. So what this actually indicates is that there is strong evidence, however not quite as strong as with processed meats, that increasing the intake of red meat will lead to, again, to an increase in the risk of colorectal cancer, as well as evidence showing a link to prostate cancer and pancreatic cancer. So this means that red meats are found to be probably carcinogenic to humans. There is strong evidence, however slightly less convincing than when talking about processed meats. So does this mean that you should panic and never consume red meat or processed meats ever again? No, it does not. While you can live perfectly healthy on a fully plant-based diet, never eating any kind of meat ever again, this doesn't mean that that is the only way to follow a healthy diet. However, according to the studies by the World Health Organization, it wouldn't be a bad idea to at least be mindful of the amount of red meat and processed meat that you are consuming in any given week and reducing it if you feel like it is a concern to you. Now, what about the environment? While I am very passionate about the environment and the environmental impacts of a plant-based diet, this is not my area of expertise, so I am going to keep this fairly brief and simply lead you to a few other resources down in the description box below, so check there for more links if you are interested. Eating meat and dairy products leads to a huge increase in the production of greenhouse gases. In fact, one individual switching to a vegan diet actually has a larger impact on reducing greenhouse gas emissions than if they were to switch their petrol car to an electric one. Cows farmed for both dairy and beef produce a large amount of methane gas. This is actually 20% stronger and more powerful at trapping heat in our atmosphere than carbon dioxide and leads to a huge increase in global warming. Additionally, land is cleared in rainforests and natural habitats all around the world to make room for cattle farming and other kinds of animal agriculture. This leads to a horrendous disruption to natural habitats and destroying local ecosystems. Farming animals for food also uses a lot of water while simultaneously producing a lot of waste, which goes into either the groundwater stores or local rivers and dams, polluting waterways. Again, I'm not 100% sure on all of the facts and figures that I've just given you because my expertise is diet, not environmental studies, but I will have a few links in the description box down below where you can go and check it out, especially this website here, which has a really easy to follow graphic layout. Or if you're looking for even more information, check out Cowspiracy over on Netflix. However, again, I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually fact check any of that information because that would take me days. It is a very interesting and engaging documentary, but as far as the health facts go, they may or may not be a little bit exaggerated. So now that we've discussed the benefits of veganism, are there any risks? Long term, yes, there actually are a few risks of vitamin deficiency. However, I do want to make it clear that if you're just looking at Veganuary, in other words, veganism for 31 days, these aren't really applicable and you probably will not see any difference in your vitamin levels just after 31 days. However, I will still run through some basics just in case, especially if anyone is watching this and are planning to continue on with veganism longer than the 31 days. Now, while these vitamin deficiencies might be slightly more common in vegan diets than non-vegan diets, they are still possible, especially if the individual is eating an unbalanced or somewhat unhealthy version of the omnivore diet. Now, the nutrients most at risk are B12, iron, and calcium because these are generally found in animal-based foods. For more information on all of these nutrients, I actually have a specific ebook dedicated to vegan vitamins available on my website, lucalifestyle.com, so I'll have that link down below. Actually, at the time of this video being published, the ebook will be coming out in just a few days, but if you are watching this anytime in January or anytime into 2021, it will already be up on the website, so I'll have it linked down below. In the ebook, I'm going to go into a lot more detail on what the nutrients are, what they are needed for within the body, as well as a whole list of plant-based sources for finding those nutrients in the amounts that you actually need each day. However, in this video, for those of you who either don't have the money or don't have the desire to purchase the ebook, I will of course give you the brief rundown. Now, B12 is found almost exclusively in animal products, however, is also found in small quantities in yeast and I believe algae, or in fortified foods. Fortification is simply the process of adding a nutrient to a food. So for example, a lot of vegan substitutes such as vegan cheeses or vegan meats will actually have B12 added to them as an incentive to purchase the product, because they know that the vegan diet is often lacking in B12. Alternatively, you can of course purchase a B12 supplement, which I know a lot of vegans do take regularly, either in the form of a pill or a liquid dropper, or via an injection from your doctor. Keeping in mind with B vitamins that they are actually water soluble, so B12 is something that needs to be consumed regularly. You can't just have an injection once and then think that you are good to go. It does need to be topped up fairly regularly to keep an adequate amount in your bloodstream at all times. Now, when it comes to iron, it is found in large quantities in red meat as well as in eggs. However, it is also found in many plant-based foods. These can include navy beans, soybeans, tofu, lentils, and even parsley. And finally, while calcium is known mostly for being found in dairy products, it is also found again in soybeans, tofu, navy beans, as well as chia seeds and almonds, just to name a few. Of course, a much more extensive list will be found in my vegan vitamins ebook. That is again linked in the description box down below. And for the entire month of January, if you use the code Veganuary on my website, you will be able to get 50% off either my existing plant protein ebook or the new one, which is going to come out in just a few days, vegan vitamins, or on purchasing my 2-day plant-based meal plan, which could be a great place to start on your plant-based journey. Now, when it comes to protein, as long as you are eating enough food in the day, especially incorporating foods like beans, lentils, nuts, tofu, or things like this, or meat substitutes, you are unlikely to become protein deficient. However, if you would like more information on vegan proteins, again, check out my ebook linked down below. I go into a lot of detail about exactly how much protein you actually need in a day, all of the myths surrounding protein intake, as well as give you examples of protein pairing, amino acids, and just break down the whole concept of plant-based proteins in a lot more detail. But again, this is mostly relevant if you are looking at following a plant-based diet long term, not just for the 31 days of January. Now, finally, the last thing I want to say when it comes to risks is that if you do actually have an existing health condition, then before switching your diet up drastically, for example, following 31 days of Veganuary, I would highly recommend going to see your doctor, or better yet, a local dietitian, and explaining to them your history. Now, they should be able to help you make this transition in the safest way possible, and also highlight to you if there are any potential risks that you need to be aware of, specifically related to you and your health needs. So, should you try Veganuary? As a dietitian, I say yes. And as a human being who really cares about the environment, I say hell yes. It is a great opportunity to try something new, experiment a little, and do something great for the planet and for your body at the same time. Not to mention the benefit that it will have on reducing animal cruelty. And as long as you're still eating enough food each day, getting a variety of different colors of fruits and vegetables into your diet, and substituting meat with protein-rich alternatives such as tofu, beans, or lentils, then you have absolutely nothing to worry about. So what about at the end of January? Well, maybe you love it so much that you continue on with your vegan diet full time, or maybe you go straight back to your old diet. Either way is fine, but I would love to see the world just embrace plant-based diets a little bit more, whether that is just once a week, for example, a meatless Monday kind of a situation where on Mondays, you don't have any meat. Even just that one day a week will help to make a difference in your health and to the environmental impact. And if we all commit to cutting down just a little bit, it will all add up in the end. So this January, why not do your health a favor and also help the planet at the same time by switching out your beef for some beans and going vegan this January. Remember, if you liked today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really does help to get this seen by more people. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more. I'll be posting new videos here every single Monday. Next week's video will be all about calorie counting, the difference between calories and kilojoules, and how to calculate your own energy requirements. So be sure to come back on January 4th, 2021 for more. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now. And remember that health is not a diet. It's a lifestyle.